We're talking to Anne-Marie Luster. She is the Dean of Students at Rockport High School. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. So you have been having education remotely at Rockport schools for about a month now. You're on vacation right now, but do you want to tell us how it's going?
Sure. We've been doing remote learning for 4 weeks. It started a little rough. We had to provide some students with Chromebooks, others with hotspots so that they had access. I think it was a learning curve for teachers, families, students. But now that we are 4 weeks in, I think there's a strong routine. A lot of our students appreciate the structure. And so overall, I think that we're adjusting well.
Nice, nice. Now, when you say they appreciate the structure, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure, sure. You would think that, high school students would appreciate the time off, but the feedback from them was that they wanted to connect. They wanted opportunities to touch base with their peers, with their teachers. They wanted learning opportunities. So our administration created a schedule for them that it's Monday through Thursday, basically, beginning at 9 o'clock, and it's just a structured schedule so that they have something that they can rely on and expect. They like the routine.
And how long does a class usually last on Zoom?
Most teachers only hold students for about 45 minutes, only 30. It depends on the course. It depends on what grade level. Our honors students and our honors teachers tend to teach the entire, scheduled 50 minutes, while others just connect for 30 minutes, touch base, and then go off and do an assignment. It just depends on the population, I think.
Mm. And are there any disruption issues that you've come across?
Zoom, as you know, stepping up in terms of security. We had a lot of trolls at the beginning, but now we are using the waiting room. Students are expected to use their full name so that when we do admit somebody to a meeting, we know who it is. So there are no surprises. If they have a nickname or a username that we don't recognize, they're texting their friends saying, tell the teacher to let me in. But even with that, we have had a few issues. I don't know if students are sharing the password and the link, but not too many disruptions, just a few at the beginning here and there.
And someone brought this up in another interview I had, the issue of privacy, of seeing people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come up?
It came up particularly with our special ed students, with our students that are connected with DCF or the court system. We have some students that have requested that they only have a black screen, that they don't show their face.
Mm-hmm.
Some students have connected with guidance and with our counseling staff and asked that they not Zoom at all because they don't feel comfortable. Sometimes the home is not predictable. Sometimes it's what's behind you that they're uncomfortable with. For each student, it's a little different, but there are those cases.
That's so hard. Corey, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, so we talked to Superintendent Lebo last week, and I think with the way the curriculum is now, it's all the students they aren't being taught new things. They're sort of going over what the cumulative work for the year and sort of brushing up on that. Is that true?
Yes. So I think that is a recommendation from the governor and from the Department of Education. We need to be sure that we are providing equal access to all students. So if students do have learning disabilities or they have access issues on the internet or Chromebook or for whatever reason, we need to make sure that we can reach all of our students. So currently, what we are calling it enrichment or remote learning opportunities, and they are building on the skills and the standards that they've already taught.
And you have an extensive background in special education.
Yep.
And how are those students' needs being met?
Our special ed liaisons are meeting with them weekly. For the freshmen especially, they need a little added support in terms of organization. It's really hard for them to not have that one-on-one connection and contact with a teacher face-to-face. So they're doing a lot of Zoom sessions in small groups. They're also calling them on the phone and just trying to touch base to keep them organized. I think that we forget when we are in school, we have 7 courses with 7 teachers, but it's predictable. And so now it's unpredictable. You're on Zoom, every teacher is inviting you to a Zoom meeting in a different way. There are different expectations for every teacher, and it's just, you know, it's a lot to manage. It's just a new system, and they need help with organization and executive functioning skills. And I think that's where they're doing or sort of meeting their needs right now.
It's interesting seeing how classrooms are adjusting to this, as well as local governments and municipalities, where they've had these open forums where you have 20, 30, 40 people or so in a Zoom conference, and not everyone's automatically muted, and it's hard to, no one knows what the protocol is for who gets to speak and when.
Right.
I mean, so hats off to everyone trying to figure this out together.
We've had to really talk about Zoom etiquette for the first week, you know, even though that some students have advocated to not participate or have a Black background, we've had to remind students that we need to have an appropriate background, that they are muted as they join. We've talked to them about the raise the hand and chat features, because it does get a little complicated. People are talking over each other, and it does get gets tough sometimes.
And there's a story in the newspaper today talking about special ed kids and the unease they're feeling as the year ends. And for seniors, and feeling unsure of where their path will take them. Is that an issue in Rockport in the special ed population?
Special ed population, I don't think so. I think most of our seniors have already decided what their path is, whether they're going to college, they're going to work, whether they're going into the military. I think that the students that are currently uneasy really are the juniors, with SATs being canceled and the AP program sort of doing things a little differently, not having a second semester grades, just having credit. I think they're the ones that are going to have a difficult time navigating this next step, because everything is just different and unfamiliar, and they need a lot of reassurance in those areas.
Yeah, that is a really tough place.
Yeah.
Is there any conversation around the SATs or AP? Well, I guess AP testing can happen, right?
AP testing, the last update that I had was that they were providing an online option, so they could still take the AP test. In terms of SATs, they're not testing until the fall probably, but our guidance counselors meet with our juniors and seniors. They have Zoom sessions. They've been talking to the juniors about already looking at the Common App and looking at essays, and really trying to get them to understand sort of how to navigate this new normal. They've been doing their own professional development with colleges, because their expectations are changing. And I mean, things change daily. Typical schools that would expect SAT scores or ACT scores are now optional, or they're not looking at scores at all. So I think that our juniors are relying on our guidance counselors to help them through this process.
Emery, do you anticipate students returning to school this calendar year? Or not this calendar, this calendar school year?
I don't think so. When we speak in our staff meetings, Superintendent Lebo suggests that that will be what we'll hear next, but obviously we don't know that. But it would be great if we could. But right now we're just waiting for whatever recommendations come from the governor and the Department of Ed.
Well, we'd love to follow up with you in the weeks ahead,
Yep.
See how things are going. And thanks for spending some time with us today, and enjoy your vacation week.
So much. I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks,
Thank
Emery.
you. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.